Welcome back. We are here with the second of the Norn missions in Eye of the North, A Gate Too Far. For this one, I will be running the character I used in Nightfall, my Ritualist. And just like I did in, Factions, not Nightfall, good lord. Anyways, I'm still running the exact same build from back then, as basic Signet of Spirits build. And then the comp is pretty much the same as well. Xandra on a Soul Twist, Livia, Blood is Power, the Minion, Imba, E-Surge, a Panic, a Psychic Instability, and then I decided I'd try around an Icy Veins build for Olias this time around, see how that goes. So anyways, other note is I would highly recommend having Stout-Hearted equipped, as you will be dealing with a lot of destroyers. Is also part of the reason why I'm running Icy Veins, because I believe they still take extra cold damage. I don't actually remember. But anyways, without any further ado, we will go ahead and get launching. So Gate Too Far starts you about halfway up floor 1 of the Raven Point dungeon. So here I'll kind of talk a little bit about dungeons. I might do a more in-depth guide on dungeons if there's interest after I do all of these. We'll go ahead and get rolling here. Main thing to watch out for are these whirling wisps. They can be pretty nasty if they get into your back line. I intentionally placed some spirits here to block them a little bit and get in the way. We also have all of these Norn being very nice and tanking for us. Yeah, we just head basically directly north. We're going straight to the Starburst there. If you don't know about this, if you have, if you open your map and you click this mission map button here, you can get a better view of the overall layout. Very useful when navigating through a dungeon in particular. If you need to see where you've been, or once you revealed an area map, if you need to know where the next floor is, or where the bosses are, where the keys are. Alright, so a couple more. Fortunately, we are dealing with some icy stalagmites. I do not like keeping Quickening Zephyr active if I can help it. So I have to, again, kind of keep an eye out on those whirling wisps over there. I prefer to pull them into a different location, but it's fine. Right, set up a potential choke point here in case I need it. So one thing I have on hand is I have a hotkey for flagging all of my heroes. Highly recommend having that if you are running with them. Just makes it a lot easier to help get them out of dodge. Other than that, just pick your fights wisely. Always make sure you know where a retreat point is, so I would have headed down that hallway if there had been a lot of trouble. The destroyers haven't currently spawned down this this pass yet, so it would have been totally free from enemies. But here we are. We are on to the Shrine of the Raven Spirit. So here we're going to be attacked by a lot of destroyers. From here on out, pretty much every single enemy is going to be a destroyer. These Tremors in particular, they are elementalists, and they have a 4-second knockdown that can be pretty brutal. Just make sure you're ready for that. If you've got skills like I Am Unstoppable, they can be helpful here. I interrupted my big boon there. Yeah, I got all of my spirits nuked there. That's not great. But it'll be fine. I can just resummon my spirits now. Also, a side note, as you're fighting these destroyers, hang on to destroyer cores. You want at least 3 of them for the quest to get Light of Deldrimor once you get through all of the initial quests. Once you finish the initial 9 missions, you actually I think it's after you get the after you finish the Norn. And yes, I'm recording this around the St. Patrick's Day week, as this happens to be the Northern support bonus, so I get double faction if I have not cleared the quest yet. Which will be helpful, or mission. Which will be helpful for a couple of my characters. Such as my monk that has not done anything in Eye of the North. The Destroyer of Deeds, Destroyer of Hordes. Hordes got Barrage, so I generally consider it more dangerous. But it doesn't mean you leave the Hordes or the Deeds alone if you can. Destroyer of Thoughts and Destroyer of Hope will both get rid of a lot of your boons. Or your enchantments, I mean. Not your boons. I'm still thinking Guild Wars 2 because I just finished that. Destroyer of Bones is a hammer. Not really that big of a threat from what I've seen. So from here, you now get to the Raven Blessing. It gives you an ability that counters knockdowns. However, it disables all of your skills, so I am not going to use it. If at any point you do decide you do need it, you can talk to Olaf, and he will give you the Raven Blessing. They will tell you about this in future floors in this mission, but it does work on the first floor. So I'm going to summon my spirits while I'm currently out of tremor range. So side note when it comes to controlling enemies, a general thing I would keep in mind, I have mentioned this in every other expansion run through to this point, please try to have a flat bow or a longbow in your one of your weapon sets, just so you can more easily pull enemies with. There aren't many destroyers they have to fight here, so it's not as important to do pulls, but there are going to be some points, like maybe I might do this in Blood Washes Blood, where I will pull specific enemies. In theory, against the Char, I would run into it. However, with the way I do that mission, it's not going to happen. So generally, you want to attack the Tremors first. Last thing you want is for them to knock you down twice, because that knockdown lasts for ages. Even better, what you can do is you can flag your heroes just out of range of the Tremor, wait for it to do the knockdown, and then you bring everybody in. And then nobody gets knocked down that way. Destroyer of Sanu, Axe, just don't let him get into your back line, because Cyclone Axe can hit for quite a bit. And then the Destroyer of Flesh, which is the Sword Warrior Destroyer, is pretty nasty because it runs 100 blades. So definitely another one you don't want to let into the back line. Bones, though, not as risky. I have not really seen them take out an entire back line, unless you let them. We're gonna go ahead and let the Tremor help us with the Drakes here. Now there's only kind of one of them left. We'll take that out before it does another Tremor. And we will be on our way. We'll see if a Glacial Dagger ends up dropping. That is the number 2 item I most want in this game at this point that has not dropped for me. Just behind a Vampiric Dragon Sword. I highly doubt it will happen, but if it does, I will be extremely excited. So yeah, from here, it's just pretty much fight your way through. I know it's still saying receive the Raven Blessing, and it's telling me I'm going away from the objective. That's just because I haven't actually taken the blessing. Once you get up to here, this door should open. If it doesn't, you just take the blessing from Olaf. I'm pretty sure once I've taken out this group, it'll be fine. Okay, they interrupted my summoned spirits. There we go. continue to let the Norn guards do their thing and tank for us. There we go. Door's open. Now we move on to the second floor. So again, if you need the Raven Blessing, you can just talk to Olaf. From here, there's a couple of Vetter enemies. I don't know if they're pronounced Vetter, Vader, however you pronounce them, Viter. I'm sure there's some correct pronunciation for it, but they get quickly replaced by destroyers. I've had cases where the destroyers don't replace them. Doesn't really change much, I'll be honest. Kind of still fight through them the same way. Destroyer of Thoughts, pretty nasty with hexes. So always be... They are probably the most dangerous destroyer, if you ask me. Between Shatter Hex, Hex Eater Vortex, I believe they also have Shatter Enchantment too. Yeah, we're just gonna head straight due north, kind of west a little bit. Once we're at this pass here, it's just over the hill and we're through. Yeah, every single Eye of the North mission that takes place in a dungeon goes a lot faster than the actual dungeon it takes place within. Like, the actual Raven Point dungeon is actually decently long. It's not Frostmaws, by any means. It's not like Frostmaws, Shards of Ore, or Roggers, but it's still pretty substantial. Doesn't really have a small floor like some of the others do. At the same time, it doesn't have a secret switch, which is always nice. Just continue along the edge here. Okay, destroyers killed them, so let's see if I can sneak on by. I believe our goal is right down there. Yep, there it is. And just like that, we get to ignore the enemies. Thank you, destroyers, for clearing the way for me. And just like that, we are on to the third floor. This one, we just head directly south. Again, if you need the Raven Blessing, you can take it from Olaf. I personally don't. When we get to the Undergate, I might show it off a little bit. Ugh, interrupted me again. Destroyer of Thoughts. Another one behind us. Now it shows me knocked down. Took it a second to realize what had happened. Alright, so we just continue this way. So there's the Destroyers of Flesh. They're just 100 Blades warriors. Since I can, this is a great example of a pole trap you can do. So you've got a little corner you can sneak around. None of the characters I have need line of sight. So I just pull these guys in, and they will all get blocked by the spirits. Destroyer of Hope does Order of Pain and some other melee buffs, so kind of lower on the totem pole. I believe they also have an enchantment rip though, just because of how much I play my warrior, and I'm always annoyed when my conjure skill goes away. See the next mission, Blood Washes Blood, if you want to see what that build is. And here we go. We're at the end of the mission. So we're going to head to the right first. I'm going to clear out... Oh, never mind. We got some guys running in. 2 deeds and a bones. Take these guys out first, since they were so kind as to come over. But I'm keeping an eye out. If things go poorly, you retreat back through that gate there. Right now, it should be fine. We're going to see what Olaf and all of them pull. It's 2 hordes, but as long as they're attacking the Norn and are getting obstructed, they're not that bad. Well, it looks like now they're starting to get into view. But now it's just them, so it's not a big deal. The Spirit of Winnowing in the back there does give them a damage boost, but if you have anything that does physical damage, like say Bone Fiends, you get the damage bonus too. So it's kind of up to you if you want to use it or not. Oh, I am not on my staff right now. And once we're here, we just take out the Undergate. Just keep an eye out for what destroyers spawn. So like a Deeds isn't too bad. But if like a Thoughts comes out or a Hordes comes out, you might need to rethink that. Sanu isn't too bad as long as it's on the Warriors. You have a Destroyer of Flesh, again, as long as it's up there, it's not a big deal. And as soon as the Undergate goes down, it's mission over. Olaf gonna give me my skill? No. Well, I assure you, the Raven skills are there. They can be useful if you're like a melee character. However, I found the Raven Blessing to be the least useful out of all of them. The Tremor really isn't that bad, and you can keep 7 out of range of it, so it's really not that big of a deal. When it tries to go from the knockdown, you just let it do Tremor, and then you go spike it down after. It's not that big of an issue. But with that, we are done with the mission. And that is now 2 out of the 3 Norn missions. Next up is Blood Washes Blood, which I will be running on my Warrior. So as always, hope these are helpful, and we'll see you for the next one.